What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 137 of Psychotic and Iconic. Paul's here along with my co-host Nick Theories, Philly Phil, featuring special guest who's back for the Cowboys, Spanos.
What's going on, boys?
Thank you to everybody that tuned into the live stream tonight. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and share it. Thank you to everybody that likes, follows, and subscribes to all of our platforms. We have hoodies, tanks, t-shirts, and long sleeves. If you need one, send us a message. We are working on our website. It'll be up shortly.
Welcome back, bro.
Welcome back,
dude.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back, man.
I just want to tell you two things. One, my son wants one of these stickers.
Absolutely.
And number two, if the Cowboys win this weekend, you're 2-0 with that sticker on here. So it's coming off and it's going outside in the rain.
Especially if it's against the Eagles, you can't have that.
Yeah. No, it's fine if they get there. I don't mind if they win this weekend. But I'm saying it's got to come off because I'm superstitious.
That's fair.
And if they're playing, well, they will play the Eagles. But
I think so.
Anyway, where you guys want to start tonight? We're going to do some daily news.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do daily news.
Aaron Rodgers goes on the Pat McAfee show, says some weird shit again. I think it was taken out of context, though. He said in the right situation, he could be an MVP again.
I agree with him.
No, in the right situation, you should want to be a Super Bowl MVP again. That's different.
No, but
MVP is an individual award. It's a team sport.
Yeah.
I hate the quote. I hated it. As soon as he said it, I said, this guy is really all about himself. He don't care about winning Super Bowls. It's evident he hasn't been there in like 13 years, so he doesn't care that much to go back. Yeah. So, yeah, it's an individual award. I'm not with that shit, bro. Like, it's a team game. It is.
See, I didn't take the quote literal like that. I took it as he was saying that he could play in an MVP level and the team could compete. That's how I took that. I didn't take it as him saying, like, strictly he could win MVP. Like, I know Gronk jumped on him, and I know a bunch of people were jumping on him about it. But I don't think that he actually meant just I can win the MVP. I thought that he meant that he could play at an MVP level, which then would result in team success, because generally when you're an MVP, your team is very good.
See, I think now with how popular podcasts are and like the long form conversations, stuff gets taken. So everything gets chopped up. So, like the Parsons thing a couple weeks ago with the Hurts opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't even think Rodgers meant it in a negative connotation, but of course that's how people are going to take it because of the way he fizzled out at the end of the season and didn't play his best ball. And then I don't know. I don't love it, but at the same time, I like that players are doing podcasts and stuff. And I like when they're being,
I do too.
I actually love the era of the player podcast.
Yeah. Cause you get to actually see their personality.
And they're real.
They're talking about.
Like, I never feel like it's authentic and it's raw in there. They never go on there and I feel like they're lying.
Right. Cause like who watches a post-game like a press conference and then just goes like, everything they said was definitely like how they're feeling. Like, they're so buttoned up and polished, most of them. They get coached on like what to say half the time. And if you go across, if you go against that, you look like an asshole. So it's like usually like, yes, we played as hard as we could. Yeah. Then you just say the generic bullshit. But when you go on a podcast, you're talking like
the one that got me actually really into it was the Draymond Green show. Because Draymond Green would go on. He got kicked out of a game and went and did his podcast in his hotel room immediately after and was talking about it.
Yeah, he's addressing the smoke.
It was so real in the moment. Did you guys ever see All the Smoke with Matt Lawrence and Steven Jackson?
Yeah. I've actually had listened.
They are awesome.
They are.
Yeah,
they're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the old school mentality mixed in with the new guys and stuff, and they're like a wealth of knowledge for basketball. So for basketball fans, it's just
huge. Yeah.
It's awesome. Like they have Magic Johnson, they have Charles Barkley coming on. So
it's funny that you said that too. Like, they go up to the press conferences and you could tell they're kind of bullshitting. Yeah. Like Tom Brady would talk, he would go up there and he was fucking lying his ass off. He would talk about like a 3-win Jet team saying they have like great corners. They have good corners. Their defensive line is really stout. This, that, they're very tough to score on, like something stupid. And it's like, bro, you're gonna wax the floor on it, bro. Right. Like, you know what I mean? So I do agree with that. But the podcast game is so changed now because you could be real as shit, man, because you're with your friends.
Right.
So it's like, all right, if you say something negative, you're not by yourself really, because you're like, it's actually on that podcast. So like the people that are on the podcast kind of tag along with you,
right?
To a degree.
And it's a new way to analyze what people are saying. So like now, like how you took it and then how you took it was kind of different. And then now everybody's just kind of going one way or the other, as opposed to where I don't think it should be as blown up as it was. I think it should just be more or less taken with, I think he wants to to still play and play at a high level. I don't think he wants to be a game manager or anything.
Yeah, and I'm not an Aaron Rodgers, not a huge Aaron
Believe
Rodgers
me,
fan.
I'm not,
You're a truth
not
teller.
either.
Yeah, I'm an Aaron Rodgers truth teller. I just like, for me though, Green Bay did wrong by him.
Yes.
They never really got him. They never went out and got him a big name. I mean,
Agreed.
like they got Sammy Watkins, but
Come on, fam.
Sammy Watkins.
We're not gonna do that here.
Yeah, that's Sean Daniels draft.
That's just their MO though. They never spend money in free agency. I feel like they always have a lower draft pick. They never like go make a big splash and try to get a top 5 pick.
I never feel like they're trading like their 3rd and 4th rounders with a second to move into the first round or move up in the second. Like I never felt like they did that. Like Devontae Adams, when he came out of school, he wasn't that good.
Yeah, wasn't he a lower
he was
a first round pick?
Yeah, no, he wasn't. And then he was like mid when he came in, and then he popped.
Blew off, yeah.
Now I don't know if Christian Watson looks like that next guy. I mean, obviously we'll see. Time will tell on that.
Or at the end, yeah, that was surprising.
We'll see. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go back, is he going to look like that?
Correct.
There's a difference.
Yeah,
the quarterback matters.
We'll know a lot about Jordan Love. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
No doubt.
Next up, I wanted to talk about Trey Lance. What do you think about him sending out that tweet or sending out that Instagram story about what's his face going to Tennessee?
See, I think that's blown out of proportion more than the Aaron Rodgers one, in my opinion.
I think he was saying like good job or good luck. I don't think it meant for him to go to Tennessee, even though the speculation would point to that because that's like everyone's assuming right now that Brock Purdy beat Dallas, go to Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl because the defense is great, and then he's going to be their quarterback. But I don't necessarily think it was like that.
I don't think so either. I'm with you. I think it was just like more of like a respect kind of thing.
Yeah,
like, yo, I'm giving you love. Like, yo,
man.
Good luck. You know what I mean? Like, best of luck. You got a new job. That's like if you have a friend, right? You congratulate them on a new job, regardless. Like even if you work with coworkers that leave the company that you're with, you're gonna congratulate them. It's like, yeah, hey man, I'm happy for you. You know, best of luck. I wish you the best of everything. So for me, that's kind of how I took it. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's just my personal.
I was the same way. I thought that, I mean, that's another piece of news that I thought was like, all right, you're taking it out of context and you're assuming.
I think, yeah, I agree with you guys both on that. Like, most likely he was cool with that guy, and then, you know, just kind of giving him some dap like online, like publicly.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, you already know my theory about what I think is going to happen after this season.
I told him he doesn't believe that, but
it's definitely not a unflawed. Like, there's definitely things that happen.
What is this?
But
the Tom Brady goes to San Fran.
So
Brock Purdy sits, backs him up.
In my opinion, whether San Francisco loses this week to Dallas or next week in the NFC Championship, I think San Francisco is going to lose one of these two games, you know, either this week or next. And I think the reason they're going to lose is the defense is going to expose Purdy. And I think people are going to have in their head, they're going to go, look at this team. It's so complete. They have a great offensive line, a top defense, all these weapons all over the field. What are they missing? A quarterback. Can you rely on Trey Lance next year? He's coming off of an injury. Was he that good to begin with? Then Jimmy G is going to go test free agency. He's probably not going to be back. They're probably going to roll with Purdy unless they have an opportunity to get the GOAT. Why wouldn't they do that? That's a cash cow right there. We could get Brady, and Brady doesn't have to put the team on his back and do anything crazy. He could just.
And they got great nursing homes in California.
Yeah,
he could ice his knees after the game.
Well, he would have a TB-12 center there.
You're right.
Before he even got to San Francisco.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can see that. But, yeah, no, I knew.
TB-AARP.
Listen, you know, me and you have gone back and forth throughout the years with the Brady stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a Brady guy.
Yeah.
There's no way the football gods are going to allow me to have end of Tom Brady be a raping in the playoffs against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
No way. He's going to come back, and I think he's going to go to a better situation than Tampa, or Tampa just reloads, one or the other.
They just got rid of Byron Leftwich.
Yes, I saw that.
Which we talked about this a few episodes ago, and I said, like, that sucks for him because he turned down the Jags head coaching job. And he's probably not going to get a head coaching offer for a long time.
Well, he did that because he didn't like the owner. That's the reason why he turned it down. Yeah.
Doug Peterson.
Or no, I'm sorry, not the owner, the GM. The GM that was in place.
Shad
he
Khan
did not.
Or whatever?
No, he's the owner.
Okay, who's the GM?
The GM, I'm not sure. I forget who it is, but he didn't like that situation. So he bailed, and he was like, all right, well, I have one more year with the GOAT. I could build my resume even more and then go get a job that I actually really want and I can desire. So that's kind of how I took it. Did he make a mistake? Yes, because anytime you get an opportunity to be a head coach, you gotta take it.
Yeah.
You gotta take it. And especially when you had Trevor Lawrence too. Like you could have actually had something good there.
Big, yeah.
And build momentum. And that you could have said, yo, that's my quarterback. Because you came in a year late, but you could still groom him to be your quarterback. So I think he made a big mistake.
He gambled on. He thought they might get another Super Bowl run with that, and then on top of that, maybe he could get a better job, a better coaching job than Jacksonville.
Right, because they lost to the Rams in divisional round that year. So he really screwed the pooch on that one, bro. Like that really sucked.
What do you make of Brandon Staley saying that he never felt his job was in jeopardy? Because I found it as purely comical.
I mean, I'm sure he had whispers, in the organization that probably gave him that sense of confidence to say that. I don't think he felt like he was on edge. I don't think he felt like he was on the brink. I feel like you feel that like in your job. Like you would feel like you're on the brink. Like if I fuck up here, I'm out. Like I know that. You know what I mean? I make too many mistakes. You feel that, bro. You know what I mean? Like the pressure and everything.
I've been feeling it for about 10 years ever since I started working.
Yeah. But you know what I mean, though? That feeling, bro. Like that fucking gut-wrenching feeling where you're like, damn, if I don't perform well in this month or the next project, I am fucking canned for him. Right. So I got to perform my best. But like I feel like he had that like security blanket over him where he felt the need that he was confident enough where he felt like he wasn't going anywhere. And that could be due to the relationships he has in that building. So that's kind of how I took it. So I'm not going to overblow that story there because like, to me, maybe there was a feeling that he had and that he felt safe. So I'm going to go with that, to be honest.
I'm just not in the Brandon Staley camp.
No.
I think the Chargers are really, really playing with fire with the talent that they have at quarterback.
I literally, as one of my notes, I put a picture of his face and I said, look at this guy's fucking face. Look at it. It's fucking. It screams I only scored 3 points in the second half. And I only won about like half of the games with my super talented Chargers team.
We were saying this. I said this last night or on Tuesday. Justin Herbert's a top 10 talent.
Absolutely.
But he's not a top 5 quarterback. He's a top 5 talent, to be honest. Justin Herbert's arm talent is up there with Mahomes, Burrow, Allen. That's how good
and he's young.
His talent is. But, at the end of the day, you have to win, you have to perform. And that he's got to wear that 27-0 blown lead until he makes a conference championship game or something like that. Because again, dude, when they said, like people say, oh, win losses aren't a stat. Like they are. That's what you play the game for. Now, within context, right? They're not everything, but you have to. Don't waste Justin Herbert. He is too skilled of a player to be stuck with a defensive coordinator that doesn't really know situational football.
Bro, the Chargers are notorious for just wasting talent. They had some of those really good Phillip Rivers teams back in the day. Mm-hmm. Sean Merriman a couple of years when he was like defensive player of the
Lights
year.
out, baby.
Yeah.
The celebration,
they
bro.
Have talent. They kind of remind me of the AFC version of the Cowboys. They usually have a lot of hype. They have a lot of talent, and then they don't really do anything at the end of the day. And then you're like, when is this ever going to change? And then this year it was the same old. And you're like, Jesus, dude, when are they going to get it together?
I know. That really is the truth with the Chargers too. And like, cause I'm not a Phillip Rivers fan and I laugh all the time because I'm like, yeah, he has all these stats. And it's like, dude, you're the only guy that's ever had the first ranked offense and defense and missed the playoffs. Like my memory of Phillip Rivers is throwing the interception to lose the game. That's how I remember him. A guy that couldn't perform in the clutch.
I was back and forth with Rivers. I felt like I respect his like dog in him, like he was kind of an asshole at times.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
That I did love because I love competitive.
Yeah, I like that.
I love the competitive.
He loved playing quarterback, bro. Like,
and having kids. Apparently, he's got 16 kids.
Yeah, that I did love about him. But I'm
he loves sex. He likes getting busy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Good for that. But yeah, I don't know.
Do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
He's very borderline. I would probably say no. But at the same time, the Hall of Fame, you see people that get in, and you're like, really? Like he got in?
The bar's
look
low.
At his stat. Yeah, like
it's lower.
Because you know what's actually a good comparison? I just thought of this. You have a lot of people that think now Matt Stafford's a Hall of Famer because he won the Super Bowl. Right. And now Matt Stafford was very similar to Rivers in terms of he has all the stats, the yards, the touchdowns, all that, but he has the ring now. So it's like, all right, well, those are two very comparable players. I literally just thought that because me and Nick have talked about before where I said, like, in my opinion, if you're going to put Phillip Rivers in the Hall of Fame, how do you not put Donovan McNabb?
Right.
Donovan McNabb didn't have talent like Phillip Rivers did, But Donovan McNabb was in a Super Bowl and 5 NFC championship games. Philip Rivers has the stats, but I'd rather have Donovan McNabb's career.
But Philip Rivers was in a conference with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So was Ben Roethlisberger.
And Big Ben. Like, that is like,
it's tough.
they're Goliaths, bro.
Ben
Like, they're all-time greats in a same conference.
Roethlisberger got 2 of them things, though.
I know, because Big Ben was really him.
I actually say, to me, Big Ben is the most underrated quarterback of the 2000s.
I agree. I think a lot of people look at his later in his career and judge him off that instead of his earlier career, because he was able to run. He was he could throw the ball better than anybody in the league. Like, he was great, bro. He was he was a dual threat. Yeah. He really was back then. So I think people kind of judge him based on now. You know what I mean? So like, whether it's fair or not, but
I like Rivers better than Roethlisberger. I thought he was better, but to play devil's advocate, Roethlisberger did have the worst Super Bowl performance in a win
ever against.
Like, he had like a 17.
Yeah, it wasn't was it the Packers? No, they lost the Packers.
Those Steelers defenses were legit.
Yep.
Like, they know how to draft receivers and build defense.
They're talking about the game against the Seahawks.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I think statistically it was the worst ever quarterback rating. Like,
that was his first one too, right?
In a win.
The Seahawks?
Yes.
The Seahawks was his first one. The second one was
Antoine Randall had a touchdown pass that game, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one Super Bowl he did well against the Cardinals.
That's the Santonio Holmes throw.
Right.
The best throw I've ever seen.
That was very nice. But the first Super Bowl, he kind of just won by default.
It was running.
What the hell is that? Yeah.
It was all running. So, I mean, yeah, I'm the same way, but interesting on the Philip Rivers stuff.
I'm a Philip Rivers guy. You know that.
You and my dad, bro. I don't understand it.
We smoke good and we know our shit. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Shout out, Pops.
I feel like I've been fighting with my dad about Philip. Me and my brother have been fighting with my dad about Philip Rivers. I mean, probably since we're,
I don't know if that's a game into the league.
13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My dad was a Philip Rivers fan and Tony Romo.
They were very similar. They both had very good stats for a long time. Rivers, I think, was supposed to be legit, and Romo was kind of a nobody and then just made a name for himself.
Yeah, it sucks with Romo too, because Romo is another one, ultra talented. It was just like in that moment, like the Seahawks when he fumbles the snap and he throws now, granted, it was a catch to Des Bryant.
The injuries really killed him.
Yeah, his shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Your mom commented, Daddy said Rivers is going right to the Hall of Fame. That's my guy, man. That's my guy, yo.
Yeah, I just don't
know.
What
up, boo? That's my dude, man.
I just don't know how you judge quarterbacks these days, because some people are all predicated off of rings. Some people are then they get in trouble and they're just only the stats guy. So it's like, I feel like it's the most overrated but important position that the way things get judged.
I'm a body of work guy. Like, I take into account numbers. I take into account winning. I take into account when you need that galvanizing moment. Can you make the throw? And I felt like with McNabb, struggled. I felt like with Rivers struggled. But for me, just to, in context, for me with McNabb did have playoff success.
Yeah.
Granted, he lost 4 straight NFC championship games, but, he was there.
So to be considered in the Hall of Fame, you need at least 1 ring. That's what I'm getting the vibe from you two, is that if you win the Super Bowl, your chances of being a Hall of Fame player or perspective of somebody is the Super Bowl.
It should open the door, but then you have your examples of like Trent Dilfer, Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Nick Foles.
Right. Like, Eli's kind of borderline, but I still wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame even with his 2 rings because his interceptions were insane.
He's a 500 quarterback.
But
in the moment,
he had 2
Eli
rings.
was the man.
He beat the GOAT twice.
And
that's tough.
Then you have Rodgers only has 1. Dan Marino had 0. Romo had 0. Statistically, a very good quarterback. Rivers 0.
Yep.
McNabb 0. You're like, those are some heavy hitters though from their era.
Yeah.
But
for me, like, to get into the Hall of Fame, you have to, like, can you tell the story of football without Matt Ryan? You absolutely can.
Yeah.
Can you tell
without those big ass losses?
Yeah. Can you tell the story of football without McNabb? Yes and no.
He dominated the early 2000s, man.
Now, I know the Cowboys had like Drew Henson and Anthony Wright. I get it.
The dark days.
Not for nothing. Tom Brady never played. He still doesn't play in a good division. So, but he has 7 Super Bowls, so it's a little bit different. But Peyton Manning, his division was always
pretty ass. Yeah.
I mean, at one point they had the Texans, but they had Matt Schaub.
Right.
Well, Dan Marino, your mom just said Dan Marino has no ring.
Right. Dan Marino's stats still hold up today, like phenomenal.
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Well, the passing yards and things like that he had in seasons, like people still compare it. Now, obviously, I'm not like a historian like that. I mean, I only know Dan Marino was good for my mom.
Right.
Literally, because that's what my mom loves.
Yeah.
No, so
I mean, I haven't looked him up in a while, and I probably could do it real quick. But his stats, and you know how obviously offensive oriented the league is now, and the rules. The rules favor receivers and quarterbacks so much more. But like Marino's stats from the late 80s and 90s were insane.
It's the same thing with Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine? Like Jerry Rice has stats from 16, 17 years ago that are still unable to be touched.
Yeah,
and that's with a Randy Moss and a T.O. there. I mean, those are two guys that you could argue are better than Rice. They're probably not, but you can make a compelling argument that they are. So,
well, Marino has 61,361 total yards passing, 420 touchdowns, 252 interceptions.
Yeah, 2-1.
That's a
Phillip Rivers has 63,440 yards, 421 touchdowns, and 209 picks. That's interesting. That's interesting, fam.
Yeah.
But Dan Marino got to a Super Bowl. Like Phillip Rivers couldn't do it.
But that's what I'm saying. Is that the galvanizing moment to make you a Hall of Fame?
For
just
me.
Getting there?
Well, no, I don't think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. I don't.
I know that.
I'm just saying, like, those are things though that when you pick, like, it should be hard to get into the Hall of Fame.
I agree. I look at it like this: was your impact on the team because of the team, or was it because of you? Like Marino, I honestly, and I'm pretty decent with football history, I can't name any of his weapons. Like, who was his number one receiver?
Me.
Yeah, right. Like, who was he throwing to all those years? And he put up all them stats. So it's like they were clearly winning because of him. And I feel that way about Rodgers a lot of times. It's like Rodgers, he did have Adams for a couple of years, but besides that, he had
you can name
mid receivers. Yeah, for a year or two, he was really good, but like very mid receivers, usually not good defenses, but they were winning because of him.
Yeah.
And like then there's other guys like Eli where it's like, well, they were winning because that defense.
Because that defensive line was good.
But that is so interesting, though. Like, Rivers has better stats, but he had better players.
Right.
That's what I will agree on that, because he had Antonio Gates.
LT.
Gates was unbelievable for a long
time. Who else
Shea Caldwell.
Yeah, well, no, he was with Brady.
Who was
Keenan McCardell.
Keenan McCardell.
Yes. He had a really big receiver too, though, for a while.
What is his name?
Insane.
It's not. It wasn't Chris Chambers. Chris Chambers was on the Dolphins, but I remember
throwing
him.
some names, dude.
Yeah. Oh man, who is Vincent Jackson?
Vincent Jackson.
Yes. He died, didn't he?
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was it, a car accident or something?
I think didn't they find him in like his hotel or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. It's a really sad story, but he was really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so like it's an interesting argument.
Yeah.
And like we don't have all night to argue it, but like I would make my case that Phillip Rivers would be a Hall of Famer. Because based on those stats, based on Marino, I'm not saying he's better than Marino, but if you're gonna go off pure talent, well, then a lot of players should make the Hall of Fame based off pure talent.
Right.
So yeah, I'm with you. It's a compelling argument, but yeah, I definitely believe Rivers is a Hall of Famer, bro.
I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Well, he never won shit, so it goes against everything that I believe, and
Yeah.
as a fan, like I believe you have to win. He never did. So it goes against that. But knowing the game of football and watching him, the intensity, the passion, the leadership, like his players really cared about him. Well, you could say interceptions, but Marino had more.
Yeah.
Didn't he have that crazy story too?
Which is to me, that's the craziest thing.
Marino had 43 more picks.
Yeah.
Than Rivers, and one less touchdown. But we just talked about the talent level difference between that Dolphins team and the Chargers.
That's what holds it against it, Rivers, is that he had a loaded team. Very similar to Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has a loaded squad.
The craziest stat I've ever heard, and this is insane. San Diego, I think it was 2000, was it 10? They had the number one offense and the number one defense and didn't make the playoffs. How is that possible?
Crazy. That's like fantasy stuff. That's how I was in one of my leagues.
It's like Paul's fantasy years.
Most points against. You're like, damn.
How did you lose?
I came in last this year.
Yeah.
And in the best ball, I came in first. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that would go against his argument, too. But I'm looking at the body of work. 17 straight years of being a pretty good quarterback.
Hey,
his rookie year,
he went to the Colts and brought them into the playoffs too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And he played pretty well with the Colts.
Hey, Carson Wentz didn't make it.
Yo, he played pretty well with the Colts, actually. 68% completion percentage, 4,169 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 11 picks on his last year. and that team is completely imploded since.
Yep.
Besides, Wentz kind of kept them afloat a little bit.
But I mean,
I would
Rivers was
say,
39 years old, dude. Carson Wentz was in his quote
but he made
prime.
the playoffs.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
So like the guy gets there, bro.
Yeah.
He just can't win.
finish.
Yeah.
AFC,
It's one of those
the
things.
AFC was the tougher conference for a very long time.
Yes, because I feel like if Phillip Rivers was in the NFC,
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been battle between him and Donovan for a couple
Probably.
of years. And possibly Vic, at the time. But
who was Donovan's biggest guy? Like Hasselback for a couple years.
Hasselback, Favre.
Well, Rodgers would have been in play,
Rodgers,
right? I
yeah.
guess in his late and in 2010s,
Well, I mean, you got to remember though,
half his
McNabb
career.
lost to Brad Johnson, Jake Delhomme. McNabb lost to some bums, so he's not completely, wet clean of that.
Right.
That sucks.
But in fairness to McNabb, to play devil's advocate, the majority of his weapons
We're horrible.
wouldn't make other teams.
Nay
once they
Brown,
got
Billy
cut.
McMullen,
Yeah.
James Thrash,
Antonio
James
Freeman,
Trash.
Ricky Prohl. They were buns.
Yeah. So it's like, in fairness. And then look what happened when they did get just a little bit of talent in 2004.
Went
They
right
blew the
there.
fuck up.
But the problem was it's him and Owen's ego
Right.
coexist.
That was
Who is that wide receiver of the Eagles? Downtown Reggie Brown.
Downtown
Oh
Reggie
my
Brown.
God. Dude, the most
Number
overhyped
86.
wide receiver
He
in the
was
Eagles
fucking
ever.
horrible, dude.
He should have never gotten drafted that high anyway. because
Downtown
in college,
Reggie
he got.
Brown.
Did you ever see
Downtown
the
Reggie
hit?
Brown, man.
Did you
Yeah.
ever see the hit in him from Georgia when he
No.
was dead?
Did he get smacked?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
He was,
I did see that.
motionless on the field for a while. I was
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't draft that guy now. Jesus, he's
Yeah.
damaged goods.
Yep. All right, guys, moving on. Giants at Eagles. Eagles minus 7.5.
Psychotic-Iconic.
What's the keys for both teams to win the game?
I'll start this one. I think, honestly, for both, let me pull up my notes here. I think, honestly, for both, it's got to be the running game because the Giants, what they do well is run the ball. Get Daniel Jones out of the pocket, have him do bootlegs. Saquon Barkley's their star. He's really their only real weapon, I feel like, in my opinion. And the Eagles, like this season, if they had a weakness, it would be the run, stopping the run. So the Giants have to establish that. And then in my opinion, it's the same thing for the Eagles. The Giants have the 27th ranked rushing defense in yards. You got Jalen Hurts, who's a running machine, Miles Sanders, Scott Gainwell. Figure that out, build some confidence for Jalen Hurts. They might be a little rusty. They had a week off. They didn't have their best game, in their last game of the season. So run the ball. You control the clock. Whoever controls the clock controls this game. I think it's going to be closer than it should be, but I think the Eagles should pull it off.
You haven't covering the spread?
7.5. Yeah, I would take the Giants. I would take the Giants points, but I would take Eagles money line.
I'm with them. I got the Giants with the points. I got the Eagles money line. I think the Eagles are a way better team.
Yes.
I fear that I'm telling you, there's something to be said about that last game. And I know it was meaningless. It was super meaningless. But to lose 22-16, I feel like that gives the locker room confidence. In some weird way, it will. And it showed in Minnesota when they put paws on them, paws and feet on the fucking Vikings. Like I told you, they were going to do.
They did not put paws on them.
Paws
They won
and
by
feet.
a touchdown.
They won by a touchdown, right?
That's putting paws on something.
Paws
No,
and-
you're going to see
Yeah.
paws on Saturday night.
Yeah, because they were an underdog by what? What was the spread of that game?
Bro,
3?
they should be an
That's
underdog.
a 10-point differential in comparison to fucking Vegas.
I understand that.
So that's a blowout in my opinion.
Fam, they should be, though. Daniel Jones threw 15 touchdowns this year.
What does that mean?
Daniel Jones, Joe. They
And
had
the Vikings won 11 fucking games
Nick.
with one possession. That's it. That's the ball didn't go their way. They finally met a team that has that dog in them, and they got their ass beat in their house, man.
What the fuck is going on now with Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones.
I hate Daniel Jones. I was never a fan, but yo, I told you last podcast. I apologize. Yo, like I was dead wrong about him. The man is balling, bro. Like I was dead wrong. What do you mean?
Baldwin is 15 touchdowns and 200 yards a game.
I'm talking about last game in the playoffs when it mattered the most. The man had 300 yards passing and he had 78 yards rushing. That's pretty fucking good.
He balled. He's not ball-in. He balled.
He balled
It was a
and he was
singular
ball-in a little bit in the season. When the Giants were hot, he was doing all right.
I thought they were the biggest facade ever.
They are. I believe they are. I don't think they're a top 4 team in the NFC.
Bro, you got dudes right now
I
on
just think-
TV and all over the globe now talking about Daniel Jones is the
Gawking,
5th
yeah.
best
Yeah.
quarterback
Nobody said that here.
in the NFL.
Nobody
now.
said that here, bro.
My thing is we are now taking Daniel Jones, and instead of giving him respect, we are just blowing this way out of context because he won a singular playoff game.
Nobody is blown out of context, bro. Bro, like, what are you talking about? Nobody. I'm just saying it's going to be a close game because there's something about that last game. Like, it reminds me of the 07 Giants team when they almost beat the Patriots.
That's totally
And
different.
they got hot. They had confidence. They went into the playoffs, won 4 fucking straight, including beating the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl because that game gave them confidence. If you watch like interviews from that game, from the players, they will say that game changed everything for us because we knew we could hang with the best team in the league.
But Nick,
All we had to do was just gain our confidence, and that gave them confidence. This is why it scares me. That's exactly why it scares me, bro. And I think it's a fair assessment.
but I don't though, because comparing the Giants of now to the 2007 Giants is the dumbest comparison you can make.
Why?
The
They were
teams
both 9-7.
But the teams aren't similar.
Both 9-7.
I understand that, but the teams are not similar. What was the strongest part of the 2007 Giants?
Their defensive line.
What is one of the weakest parts of the 2022 Giants? The defensive line. They don't have a top 50 edge rusher. Would you take
Thibodeau's
Eli?
pretty good.
He is. Would you take Eli Manning or would you take Daniel Jones? You would take Eli Manning. Would you take now Saquon and Tiki? I guess you could probably say Tiki at this juncture, but I don't know. That's probably the thing. The wide receivers again, Richie James, I forget his name again, and Hodgson and Darius Slayton. They are not getting separation off of Bradbury and Slay.
Does Kenny Golladay still play?
I don't even know what happened.
Well, no, Tiki wasn't there, and
He wasn't 07. Who was it?
Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. Excuse me.
No, it
Tiki
was
Tiki
Brandon
was there
Jacobs,
before.
right?
Jacobs, right? Yeah, big.
Brandon
Yeah.
Jacobs, and they had like the guy Ward. I don't know. He was
Yeah.
balling too.
Derek Ward was it?
Yeah. I'll never forget it, bro.
Yeah.
I watched it.
I just aged myself with Tiki. That hurts a little bit. But I'm just saying the comparison doesn't really hold merit to me. They are two totally different teams.
I think you're missing the point. My point is it's the confidence builder of the game that it seemed meaningless to both parties.
Right.
But for the Giants, it could have gave them confidence. It could have.
I mean, if it should, you won.
You
won a playoff
lost
game.
by 6 with your backups on the road.
Right.
Like that has to feel some type of good, bro.
You know what else is the problem to me too, Spanish? I'll let you go in a minute. Oh no, you already went. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My thing is with the Eagles. The Eagles and Jalen Hurts have become the forgotten team and the forgotten MVP because they were 14-1 with Hurts or 13-1. They got hurt. His last game that he played well was against the Giants because against the Bears, he got hurt. They lose to with Minshew. He comes back. They win 22-16. They go on a bye week, and nobody's talking about Jalen Hurts anymore. He's the forgotten guy, and it's almost like the Eagles are underdogs in this game to public knowledge.
I think it's mainly because of that injury, though. And you didn't get to see him down the stretch really until that last game. And that last game, he didn't look sharp.
Yep.
So, in my opinion, coming from a Dallas fan that hates both teams, the Eagles 100% are the better team. They have more talent in every facet of the game. They should win this game comfortably. They should cover the spread. But we go back to that. They just gained confidence. They beat the better, the 2-seed Vikings. They did lose to them twice this year. We all talk about
here's the thing.
we talk about the 3 in a row.
We do have
The Eagles have a bye week this week.
We do. I was just going to say that. I was
Yeah,
going to
there you
address that. We do have a second round bye. The only thing,
the fuck out of
the
here.
only thing that I hate about it is the three win thing. However, the Giants the Eagles are just far superior to the Giants in any metric you want to look at.
I do agree.
I agree
I think
with
we
that.
have a better head coach. I think we have better talent. We have better wide receivers. We have a better quarterback. We have a better D line. We have a better O line. We have better D-back.
jerseys. You got
We
everything.
got better jerseys. We're them.
I agree, but anything can happen in a football game. All those things that you said the Eagles were better than the Giants at, you would have said the same thing for the 07 Patriots versus the Giants. Anything can happen, bro. That's all I'm saying. Is that when a team gets hot and they get confidence, they play a different type of style of football.
I totally agree with
That's why I'm like, all right, the Eagles are going to win this game. I firmly believe that, but it's going to be much closer than people think.
I got them at.
I do believe that.
I'll give my prediction before we go on.
Go ahead.
We're going to blow them out.
Okay.
Eagles are probably going to win somewhere around 34-17. They will win convincingly, and it'll put all this shit to bed. And if you guys think that I am annoying now, I will be insufferable on Tuesday when we return
For what?
because we have a second round bye.
Okay.
And on Saturday night, vindication.
I will say this: if the Eagles find a way to muff this up,
Oh yeah, I have COVID and I will not be at the game.
yeah. If they find a way to muff this up, which again I don't think they will or should, this would be a big time choke job on them.
Do you think? I agree, 100%. Do you think that it would be a waste of a season?
Not in terms for the team, in terms of the fan base and the hype and all that they got all season from the national media. Yes. In terms of the team, no, because they're building and they put good pieces in place for the future.
And we're locked up.
And you're locked up. Yeah. The only person you really have to pay soon is what? Hurts?
Hurts. I think Hurts is going to be eligible for a contract this year. And that's something with Hurts too. I mean, you make an NFC championship game, better yet, a Super Bowl.
Right.
And imagine beating Dallas to get to the Super Bowl. Something like that, you know, Hurts is going to have a big payday on his hands.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't pay Hurts 45, 50 million, but I don't know what that contract's going to be.
Yes, you would. Because if it cost him to leave, you would pay it.
Oh, no. I'm not saying it like that. That would be steep, though, because the top four quarterbacks, the highest four paid quarterbacks this year didn't make the playoffs. DeMassus, Kyler, Aaron, and Rusty.
Yeah, that's true.
The highest four quarterbacks, top paid quarterbacks in the NFL this year didn't make the playoffs.
They're higher paid than Mahomes?
Yeah, because Mahomes took a 10-year deal.
Stretched it out.
But it was like 500 million, right?
Yep.
So he gets like 50 a year.
Yeah, but his cap hit, dude, is so.
So you're
low.
going based off the cap hit. I'm going based off the annual
right
bread.
I think it might have been actual annual value.
Okay.
It
so
might
maybe Mahomes is more frontally loaded.
Correct.
So he makes
it.
I
think he got it, and then if just progressively
that makes sense.
Down,
10-year, 450 mil for Mahomes.
On the flip side,
Steal.
do you think if the Giants absolutely? Do you think if the Giants win, Daniel Jones? What are they going to do with him? Because they declined his fifth-year option.
You have to give him another year because if they win that, they're going to the NFC Championship.
They're going to tag him.
Yeah, I could see that.
Sure.
He's in a very gray area because I think he's about as vanilla, mid, average, whatever medium word you want to use. Yeah. He's that. Like he's not awful. Like he's not a joke.
He's got a warm center.
Yeah, a warm pink center. But he's not great. So I don't know.
Yeah, his running style is what scares me though.
Dable is treating him like Josh Allen. No, he's not half the talent of Josh Allen.
Yes.
But what he did to Josh Allen, he's doing with Daniel Jones.
I mean, he had 17 rushes against the Vikings.
It is crazy.
You
don't realize the wheels he actually does. It doesn't make any sense because you look at him, he doesn't look athletic.
He can move.
Doesn't look like he's fast.
He gallops.
Like, oh man, I hope this guy runs. He'll get smoked. Yeah. And then he has like a 20-yard run. You're like, what the fuck?
Like he had double the carries as Saquon. Saquon had 9 carries.
That needs to change this week if they want to win.
Yes,
Saquon
I agree. The play calling needs to be beneficial for the Giants to be successful. But the Eagles are just way too better. They're a better team.
I agree.
And every
asset.
Yes.
Yeah, bro. Like for me, the Eagles are playing a Division II squad this week.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were breaking the Bucks balls this week.
You better be careful, bro. I'm telling you, bro. And that's just a hunch that I have is just that last game, bro. Like I've seen it, man. I've seen it.
I know you're living proof,
I've seen it, bro. I've seen it, bro. Like the undefeated Patriots losing to that year, bro. But that last game meant everything to them, bro. It changed their entire outlook.
Well, I mean, the thing is, bro, it was all backups. It wasn't like Daniel Jones and Barkley went out there and did that.
I agree, but if the backups could do that, that resonates throughout the entire team.
I get you.
The starters, everything, bro. The coaching staff. The fucking the lunch ladies, everybody, bro.
Not to go into this because we already did this before, but the Eagles they didn't drop Hurts and run them. They didn't do QB draws. They were in there to get out of there unscathed and get the 1 seed. And all it did too was further prove that Gardner Minshew is a backup.
Right.
Gardner Minshew is not a starter in this league. There is a reason he is a backup.
There is a weird feeling though from a non-Eagles fan of the way they ended that season because they dominated all season. Right.
That's why they're being overlooked.
Head and shoulders, the number 1 team. You know, Hurts was in the top 3 for MVP for the longest time, probably was 1 for a good portion of the season.
Until he got hurt.
Yeah. And then at the end of the season, there was this weird vibe about the Eagles. Not that they were trashed. Like, I'm not saying that they're not capable of doing good, but I felt like there was like, for other teams, it was like, okay, we could actually beat this team.
You lose a heartbreaker to Dallas that you very well could have won, except Dak with the 30-yard pass to T.Y. Hilton. You come out against the Saints, you're terrible. Mm-hmm. You play against the Giants, and you're mid.
Kind of threw their like confidence or something off.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, we got to get in there. We got to get this win because Jalen needs the rest of his shoulder.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, we're gonna have a lot of fun on Tuesday. I cannot wait. Like I said, if you guys don't see me on Tuesday, I apologize. I'll be on event.
So you think it's gonna be a
witness
blowout?
protection.
Yeah, because I think we're the better team in every facet.
I agree, but like he said, the way they ended the season, like even you said it, they played really vanilla in the last game of the season. But Hurts, prior to that, didn't play for 2 weeks.
You know what my thing is though?
So now it's like, all right, he did that. So he was out for 2 games, played a vanilla game, took a bye week, and now he's gonna play a Giants team that plays tough in the division. That I'm telling you, bro. I'm dead ass serious. Like when I say this, be careful, bro.
This is where I'm differentiating for people. Like you guys are going off of that one game. I'm judging the Eagles based off of 14.
But that was like 7 weeks ago, bro.
That's perfect. So let me ask you a question. When the Cowboys lost to the Commanders, did that have any indication on what happened on Monday night? Zero. Dak Prescott that was the worst game, one of the worst games of Dak Prescott's career and the entire Cowboys team. They came out last week and absolutely dominated the Buccaneers. But
there's a difference. So you're saying that the Eagles weren't trying to show anything on tape, right? They were trying to
correct because there was a chance to play them.
That's fair. But what I'm saying is prior to that, he didn't play for 2 games. Yeah. Then you throw out a vanilla tape, a vanilla game on tape. Then you have a bye week, and then now you're playing against a team that just came off a big win on the road.
We hung 50 on them the last time we played them.
But you didn't do it last time. 22, that's an improvement. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying there is like I'm saying the Eagles are going to win. I just don't think that it's going to be a blowout as you think because of those reasons. Like, I think there is some rust factor in there, bro. Like the fact that the Eagles haven't played the number 1 team in like 6-7 weeks, then that kind of concerns me, bro.
Do you think there's a fatigue factor that the Giants played in Philly, then they flew to Minnesota, then they flew home, and now they have to play a 3rd straight road game? So playing a road game in Philadelphia doesn't matter.
No.
That's fucking wild, and you don't even believe that.
No, you're talking about fatigue factor in terms of like traveling?
Yeah.
No, because I've seen teams win. They went on the road in every single round and won the Super Bowl.
No, I know that.
That's why that doesn't matter to me.
But playing in Philly is different.
I agree with that. It's going to be a hostile environment. I totally agree, and I think it's going to be effective for the Giants. However, it's how they start. If the Giants could start off pretty decent, build some confidence, saying, "Yo, we're really here." The crowd's quiet a little bit. It could be a different game. I'm just saying.
If I'm the Eagle,
that could happen.
Whichever team wins the coin toss should elect to receive.
Yeah.
And try it, and you jump on them, and you jump on them fast, especially if the Eagles are quote unquote slow coming out of the gate.
See, I'm a believer in taking the ball at half.
I like that better, but like he said, if I'm the Eagles, especially with some of the doubt that's creeping in, maybe even in the locker room, in the media, with the fan base, whatever, I need to see those first 2 drives. I need to see points.
Yep.
I need to see a dominant. I need to see that
7
machine.
Too, not 3.
I need to see that
7.
machine moving again. I need to see Hurts looking like he did a couple weeks ago, as opposed to these last couple games.
Yep.
I want to see that. And then if that is what the Eagles come out with, then I think you're going to be right. I think that game might be a rout. If the Eagles come out and look flat, like a week old 2-liter soda, then I think it's going to be close, like you said.
Yeah. I do think it's going to be close.
It's going to be Tuesday is going to be fun as hell.
Yeah.
Well, I got the Eagles winning.
Cool. I appreciate it. All right, guys, moving on. Cowboys at 49ers. 49ers minus 4. Psychotic-Iconic. How did the boys pull off this upset?
Well, I think all the stars are kind of lining up for the Cowboys right now. They go in. Tom Brady's owned the Cowboys the last 2 or 3 seasons, whatever it was that they played. He's owned the whole Cowboys his whole career, to be honest with you. But they go in, they dominate the GOAT, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every aspect of the game. Nobody had that either. All the national media had Dak, he's ass, all this stuff. He comes out and has the best game of his career. Now they take all that momentum, say what you will about the Bucs. I don't think they were a good team, but they still were the Bucs. They still were the Super Bowl.
I don't think they were a good team either.
They weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think it's a joke that they got to host a 12 or 13 win team and they were under 500. But that's a different argument.
I agree. Go ahead.
You still had to beat. You know what I mean? You still have to be the man. You got to beat them.
Yes.
They did that. They went in there and they possibly.
I say it all the time.
I know. That's why I'm laughing. To beat a man, you got to beat the man.
They beat the man, bro.
Old Ric Flair. So they went in there and they did that. They took care of business. Now that bodes so much confidence for them. Now, the Niners, and nobody's talking about this because the Niners somehow captured the hearts of America, like with this Purdy story.
Yeah,
tired.
You know what I mean? And like everybody's just on their dicks. Like, I don't think anybody can dick ride San Francisco any more than the national media right now. It's unbelievable.
I agree. Unless you're talking about Josh Allen, because he's
Yeah,
on a whole different
He's
tier.
untouchable too, but everybody's on San Francisco. San Francisco. They're the team. Nobody wants to play them. And part of me agrees. They're a nasty team. They are probably, minus the quarterback position, the most complete team in the league. But that being said, they beat the better team last year, the Dallas Cowboys, in the playoffs and upset them on their run, which put them back into their purgatory of hell. And now Dallas has the opportunity to say, all right, this is the story. You know, you guys are all on San Francisco. We don't have a shot. I think I read a thing before I got here. Parsons said, you know, in our locker room, we kind of like it. Nobody's giving us a chance.
You potting your ass.
Everybody's on San Francisco. Now, we've talked about this off pod before. I honestly do think it's going to be Dallas and Philly in the NFC Championship game. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't think Dallas is going to do what they did to Tampa to San Francisco, but I think Dallas's defense is going to show some things to Purdy that he hasn't seen yet, because he's been playing some shitty teams too. Seattle wasn't. I mean, everybody was knocking the Bucs. Seattle wasn't really a great team either.
Not for nothing.
They're all right.
Not for nothing. The only players that get criticized for playing bad teams: Eagles quarterbacks and Dallas quarterbacks.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for anybody else as long as they get the.
And you got to give the kid props. He's the last pick of the draft. Nobody expected him to do anything, but he's just not fucking. He's kind of doing, in my opinion, what Cooper Rush did for the Cowboys in the beginning of the season. Yeah, he's just not fucking up. Yeah. He's going in there. He's like, okay, I got Kittle. Cool. I got McCaffrey. Feed him. Got Debo. Let's get some crazy plays for him, and then I'll hit Ayuk when nobody's paying attention to him. They got the weapons. But when you have Parsons in your face, when you have Lawrence in your face, when you have Diggs shutting down Samuel, how is he going to respond? That's what I want to see for San Francisco. So I think Dallas wins in a relatively close game. Give me the points and the money line.
Love it. I think Dak and them get their revenge as well. I think this perfect storybook ending to this season would be the two teams that played one of the biggest rivalries in football, both played each other and didn't have their quarterbacks. And the rubber match will be in the NFC Championship game. Dallas comes to Philly. It'll be a hostile ass environment. Insane. That would be awesome.
It's going to be insane.
We should think about doing a tailgate for that.
That would be nuts.
But either way, I think the Cowboys do it. I think it's the same thing. Nobody's giving them a chance. And Dak Prescott's better than Brock Purdy. And they won 11 straight games. Yeah. Laws of average, dude. Laws of average. They are due for a loss. And normally I don't like when teams blow out other teams the week before. Mm-hmm. But it's different in the playoffs. When you win like that and it's convincing and it's in dominant fashion, that can carry over. The only downside I have to the game, where I'm kind of like, I'm trying to ignore it, the schedule. It is, the NFL does need to figure that out, because the Cowboys are traveling, Cowboys are traveling all the way across the country on short rest and then not on a time change. And the Niners played on Saturday.
Right. And they get to stay home that whole week.
Yeah. Like, so that's tough for Dallas.
Definitely an advantage for San Francisco. No doubt about it.
But I love Dallas this weekend. They're one of my favorite plays. I love them.
I agree with you, both of you. I totally agree with both of you.
Hit us with that Niners pick, baby.
Oh my
Hit us
God.
with it.
However, ain't no way in hell Dallas is going to San Francisco and beating the San Francisco 49ers, bro.
Love it.
That defense is different, okay? And the Niners, by the way, they average 146 rushing yards at home. Dallas averages 124 against on the road. That spells trouble for Dallas. And the Niners, they're going to run the football with McCaffrey. He's a cheat code. Yeah. They can throw it to him. They can run it. They have Debo, who's wide open all the time. Kyle Shanahan is going to scheme it up. And I'm not trying to overreact with the Dallas win against the Bucs, because it was impressive. And I'm not going to take away from them. Hats off to them. They definitely were the better team and deserved the win. So there's no hate here. But what I'm saying is, bro, The Niners defense is fucking good. And you ain't going to see open players like that, a blown 4th and 4 and a touchdown for, with CD Lamb. That's not going to happen against the Niners. The Niners are going to make the Cowboys earn every single fucking yard. So the way Dallas wins this game is they got to establish the run, do play action, get them on their heels, and throw it to their best player, and that's CD Lamb. They have to get him involved, get him in space, get him acclimated and activated against that fucking defense. Because if they could do that, if they're able to run the football and Dak can kind of scramble and make plays on his feet like he did last week, it's gonna be a close game. And I definitely believe it's gonna be a closer game. But I'm not going to overreact to them beating the Bucs. And it was an impressive win, but it was the Bucs.
Could there be a worse NFC Championship games than Brock Purdy versus Daniel Jones?
Oh my God. Could you imagine? NFL would be pissed. They would not.
I'm just thinking about that. The flip side. So you have Eagles 49ers, me and you have Cowboys 49ers. I mean, Daniel Jones and Brock Purdy would be like an all-time NFC low.
The storyline fits your guys' narrative, which scares me.
It fits perfectly. And here's what sucks is like, you guys know I'm a Dak Prescott fan. I really do like Dak Prescott.
Me too. I like Dak.
He just plays for my most hated team. Like, I don't like the Cowboys. I root for Dak because, like, I want to see him do well. Like, next week, I'll find stats about how trash he is. No, but I'm just saying, like, I do like Dak Prescott and I root for him. And I don't want to see him lose. It's just like, I really do believe the Cowboys are going to win.
I'm not even a stats guy, but like when you can run the football like that, bro, like they have been all year against a team who kind of struggles on the road and giving up, you know what I mean? Like that's a mismatch that I feel like they're not going to overthink it. They're going to actually exploit it. So for the key for Dallas to stay in this game is stopping the run. If they can get to 2nd and 8s and then put pressure on Purdy and make them earn it on 3rd down, then it's going to be a different ball game. Like they gotta apply the pressure. If they get into like manageable 2nd downs, like 2nd and 4, it's over, bro. Like you're not stopping them because Shanahan could scheme up these guys open because George Kittle, ever since Brock Purdy has stepped in, has been amazing. He's been
he's the safety blanket, right?
Exactly right. He's been you would say a top 3 tight end, and
everybody cheats up
to get that. Who would be above him after Kelsey? He outperformed Andrews in the league.
But in the beginning, Kittle wasn't doing
anything.
Yeah, right. So, but like the younger quarterbacks, they go to their tight ends because that's the safety blanket. And who better than Kittle, bro, to be a safety blanket outside of Travis Kelce and maybe somebody else, you know what I mean? But like Mark Andrews, but they have the weapons, bro. Right. So this game is going to be relatively close because I feel like Parsons is going to cause a lot of havoc.
He's coming.
Yes, because he's a bad motherfucker, bro. Like I'm not even capping, bro. That is one of the best defensive players I've ever seen in my life, bro. Seriously,
he's definitely got a different motor on him.
He's so different. Like we saw Ray Lewis. We saw Brian Dawkins, the impact that they had.
Don't forget, Ray Lewis killed someone and now he's a born again Christian and he's on everything.
Allegedly. Anyway, what I'm saying is they have impacts on their defense that made that defense sustainable and very good for a long time. I see that with Parsons and the Cowboys.
They're going to throw him all over the place.
All over.
Purdy.
Yeah. I saw a couple, I was watching some Bucs and Cowboys film and stuff like that. And the way that the Cowboys line up Parsons is so genius, dude. They line him up in the middle. If he lines up in the middle, he's going straight. He's going
they
straight.
Play him like you do in Madden.
Yeah,
he is blitzing.
I'm dead ass serious. They do, bro. It's like Madden when you take your fastest guy linebacker and you just run him all around the field.
He's blitzing. If he's in the middle of the field, he's blitzing. Yeah. He's shooting the A gap and he's coming after the middle of the field and getting your quarterback off the spot, which is brilliant by Dallas because when you have a 45-year-old quarterback like the Bucs did, you get him off his spot. That was the result you're going to get. Right. So that is an advantage for Dallas, but David San Fran has just been amazing, bro, and it's hard to pick against them.
You have them on the spread too.
They had the 2-day rest ahead of Dallas, which we talked about this, which is bullshit. Because remember we said it when you and Jay were on, and I said the winner of the Monday night game
gets a short week
is bullshit.
And imagine you got to go across the country.
That's what I'm saying. So either way, somebody was getting the shaft, bro. Like whether they liked it or not, which is really unfair. So I hated the scheduling off the rip because of that. Because now it's an unfair advantage. Because the Niners played on a Saturday and the Cowboys played on a Monday, then they have a short week and they have to go across the country against a team that is really hard to prepare for. Like they are, bro. Like Shanahan, he's a good offensive coach.
He is.
So the key is Dallas has got to hold the Niners to under 23 to have a chance to win this game, and I think they could. I think they could do that, but I'm going to take the Niners based on the pure fact of the rest and the experience of the entire team outside of the quarterback.
Right.
But the quarterback, he doesn't have to do much. He just does very little, but it's successful because Shanahan is scheming guys open. And it's just working, bro. He doesn't have to do crazy shit like, roll out of the pocket and throw it for 60 yards for a touchdown. He doesn't have to do that, bro. Yeah. He could sit in the pocket, throw a quick slant, and he gets like 15 yards off the rip. Like we've seen that a million times with Ayuk ever since he stepped in. Like that, you can't give away free first down. So
would I be shocked if San Francisco beats Dallas? Absolutely not.
No.
San Francisco and Dallas are pretty evenly matched, realistically. Like, San Francisco hasn't really seen a team like Dallas talent-wise probably in a while. I don't know what their last big.
Vice versa, though, Span.
True.
Like, I'm not going to be surprised if Dallas beats San Fran either.
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
Because
I don't think it's that crazy.
No,
right.
Because I always said it on this podcast that Dallas is the second best team in the NFC.
I agree.
I just think the spot they're in is a little unfair for them in terms of the schedule.
This year, you got to give them a little.
What's that?
I said, did you think the Eagles are better?
Yeah, the Eagles are better.
The Eagles have a better offensive line. They have probably
the last good team. Coaching. The last good team the 49ers played was on November 13th against the Chargers. They won. I think that might have started their winning streak.
But what does that matter?
I'm just saying the Niners, for as good as they are and for as impressive as their stats and all the talent they have, they haven't been challenged that often. And now you have a Dallas team who has all the confidence in the world after that win. Because again, even though the Bucs aren't the Bucs that they were a couple of years ago, they still have Chris Godwin. They still have Mike Evans. You know what I mean?
The talent's still there.
Tom Brady, right? And you dominated that game, so their confidence level is on another level. Then you take in last year. That I don't know if you remember that game, but that was kind of where Debo and Elijah Mitchell kind of got put on the map because they were kind of tearing up the Cowboys. Yeah. So now you have that aspect of it where you're like, okay, you fucked up our season. Like, Dallas squanders a lot of their good seasons. They just do. It just is what they are the last, since the 2000s. Now it's like, okay, well, let's fuck your guys' season up. Like, you guys are having this, Purdy story and all this stuff. We need to have the chip on our shoulder and go in there and show you guys what we can do. And then if Dallas beats San Francisco, I assume it's going to be Philly, like I said, but, Philly or New York, they're going to kind of look at that and be like, all right, these guys aren't the Cowboys of old from the old yesteryear choke artists.
Do you think McCarthy's job's on the line?
No, I don't think so now.
Neither do I.
I think his job got saved when he beat the Bucs.
Yes. I think
in the beginning of the season, yes.
Yeah.
I would say.
For all the shit we talk about Mike McCarthy, what most of the general public does, he coached his ass off this year.
He's not as bad as we
he coached his ass off this year. You had your backup come in. People were predicting myself.
Cooper.
I didn't think that you lost Amari Cooper. I didn't think the Dallas Cowboys. I thought they would struggle to win 8-9 games because you're losing offensive linemen, wide receivers, and I said this year was what you paid Dak all that money for, and he rose to the occasion.
And if Dak can play like he played last week, they could actually win the Super Bowl.
100%.
But he has to do that.
But that's the thing.
Show it.
That's the big if.
Right.
Yeah. He said if
exactly.
Dak can do it. Yeah.
But he showed that he can at least do it at least once. So if he could do it once, I would assume he could do it again. So hopefully, for my sake, not your guys' sake.
Here's why I go against the Niners haven't really played anybody, is because to be a good team, you got to be focused week in and week out. Like, they could have easily slipped up against an easy ass opponent, but they didn't. So to me, that makes me think like this team is focused. They
almost slipped up.
To who?
Stidham. They almost slipped up to the Raiders. They won it though. They won it. Credit to them.
Their defense really didn't play that well that game. Gave them up 34 against the Raiders, which is kind of weird. But ever since that, I mean, outside that game, their defense is dominant, dude. Like, their defense can travel. They could do anything. They're built for these kind of moments, bro. So that's where I'm like, all right, I think the buck stops here for the Cowboys on Sunday. But yeah, I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I think Dallas is actually going to get off to a hot start, but then I think you're going to start to see the Niners really turn it up.
I want to see Purdy down by 10 or 14 points.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
Also, how storybook would it be for the Cowboys if it's they cover that 3, but Money Maher rights his wrong and hits a game winner or something like that.
He
Could
was
you
cool.
imagine?
Like,
Could you
talk about
imagine that?
That's an NFL story.
Could you imagine that?
I like that.
Yeah.
You're thinking, yeah, that's an NFL story. No, that's a narrative that like a lot the people would root for. Bro.
I don't care
yeah.
what anybody
Yeah.
says, dude. He was
Point
point
shit.
shape. Period.
I think
He's
it
Paul.
was.
He's Paul Crew from The Longest Yard.
Well, I'm
He was
very
point
happy
shape.
he did that because I had Dallas scoring under 32.5. So it was beautiful for me.
I had
Sure,
under
damn,
45.5 in the game.
oh,
And when they got that onside kick, I'm like, this
Yeah,
dude. And then he
here we
throws the
go.
bomb to Evans and he dropped
He
it.
dropped
I'm like, I'm
it.
really going to lose on this. I mean, he missed 4 extra points. That's the only
It was
reason I
insane.
won.
And he was good all season. I think over 90-something% on extra points and like 90% for field goals. So like, dude, this guy was actually I had him in fantasy. He was very good. He was like 7 to 10 points a week, easy.
Dallas has to get off the field
Yeah.
for them to be successful.
Can't
Because
let
if their
McCaffrey
defense is
shoot.
out there and they're out to dry, they're not going to survive.
Right.
They're going to be gassed the entire game, and Shanahan will make them pay for that.
I think Shanahan's a good coach.
Me too.
I know he's choked a little bit here and there with different
Yes, agreed.
different things, but I think all in all, he took his dad's old philosophy with the run, the zone block scheme, and he's always like, who the fuck was Elijah Mitchell? And last year he was a stud.
Amazing.
And then, then they went this year and they were like, you know what? We can run the ball. So let's go get a guy who could
Jeff Wilson was
really run the ball.
Yeah. So then they went out and got McCaffrey. At first, it was kind of like a head scratcher.
I was like,
You're like, you gave up all them picks for a fucking injury prone running back? Like, that's insane. And then now when you see the evidence of what it could be, you're like, oh, I guess that made sense.
yeah, well, the chips kind of fell like perfect, right? Because when Jimmy G went down, then that's when they got CMC. Well, they got CMC beforehand, but he was starting to warm up with the Niners, and their backup came in, and then you saw CMC kind of pick it up.
Right.
Like he was back to full. You know what I mean? So it was like, all right, now they have. So it actually worked out perfectly for them.
And then, in my opinion, like I said, I know it's still a long shot, but I think Brady does find a way to get there somehow. But you can take Trey Lance and maybe get a pick or two of them McCaffrey's picks that you lost and get them back.
Yeah,
for a team that really is looking. So
I'm not one of those guys that Brady's going into San Francisco 49ers. He's an East Coast cat.
I noticed patterns. Okay, so pattern recognition for this. So San Francisco's division kind of ass. If you really look at it, Arizona's not good. The Rams aren't going to be good for years now because they fucking sold their soul. And Seattle's like mid. They're like, okay, they could be good, but they could also be ass. They're all complete. Like when he went to Tampa, they were basically complete. You know what I mean? I mean, he did his recruiting thing by getting, one of the best tight ends ever and the best receiver of the 2010s out of retirement. But that was a different thing. But the division's going to be weak. He's going to go to a team that he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to throw for 300 yards. He could do the dumps, the McCaffrey and the handoffs and all that shit. And it just makes sense to me. And again, another storybook ending. I could see Brady going to San Francisco, his hometown, dominating all year, pulling a year out of his ass and winning the Super Bowl and then saying, okay, now I'm done.
You know what's funny about that? Everybody says that the Bucs were complete. I think Brady completed them.
Well, he did.
Because I'll say this, because
he was the piece that completed them. Yeah.
Because what I'm saying is that when Brady went to the Bucs, he was like, "What? Tampa Bay? Why would he go to the Buccaneers? They stink. They were 7-9 the previous year." But he saw something in that roster,
and then he made them draft.
Yeah, he saw superstar wide receivers and good defense.
Yeah. They drafted,
but they weren't on the map. That's what I'm saying is
that's because
those guys weren't on the map. The fact that he saw that.
Evans was on the map, and so was Guy.
Brady, as much as I hate him, he's cerebral.
He knows. Very, very cerebral, yes. But what I'm saying is nobody expected the Bucs to win the Super Bowl. But they had talent.
Brady probably did. Breeze retire that year too, or was that
the same year they won the Super Bowl?
He was retired
because Brady beat Breeze in the playoffs in divisional round.
Okay, but he probably looked at that and said, "Okay, Breeze has 1 or 2 more years left, so then they're going to probably be buns." The Falcons are always fucking buns anymore, and
28-3,
and and then the Panthers. So it's like, all right, I can go down to that team, and then I'll call up my boy Gronk, and let's take a flyer on AB, see what we can do, and then all of a sudden now you're just fucking loaded, and then you're in a bad division on top of that.
True, but there was also rumblings that he wanted to go to Miami with Sean Payton, so he would have been in a tough division with the Patriots twice, and then the Bills, and then the Jets are kind of up and coming now, so. I don't know. It's interesting. He is very
interesting.
cerebral and how
He's
it's
smart.
It's smart. When you're that old, you don't want to get hit as much, bro. So
he's not going to go to a team that's rebuilding. He's not going to go to the Texans.
let's just get to the playoffs and let's ride this shit out. You know what I mean?
He has to go to a team that's pretty much right there.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys, moving on. Bengals at Bills, -5.5. Does Josh Allen clean up his turnovers?
I think he does. I'm a big Josh Allen fan. I like I like the talent that he has. I like the fire. But I agree with you because coming from a Dallas standpoint, we get shit on for everything. You know what I mean? Like Dak, statistically, if you look up Dak Prescott's career, he is in the top 5 of interception ratio. Like, and all you hear this year is what a turnover machine he is.
His interception ratio is better than Patrick Mahomes.
That's crazy.
Touchdown to interception ratio.
Isn't that insane? I didn't even know that until I think Matt Hasselbeck said it on one of the shows the other day.
No, Dave Hellman.
Okay.
On Speak.
I fuck with Matt Hasselbeck, bro.
I like Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, he's wild too. The dude who stepped on the line.
No, I like Hasselbeck as a player. That was one of the. I like him as a quarterback. He was all right, bro.
He fucked himself up by that.
He was serviceable, man. He was
serviceable,
dog. He went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That counts for something, right?
Yeah, it does. It does.
He was receivers too at that point.
It was him, Sean Alexander.
And he got robbed in that Super Bowl too. They actually should have won that game, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. But to go back to the Josh Allen stuff, he is kind of a weirdly untouchable person right now. I agree. He doesn't get a lot of criticism. He is a little reckless with the ball. But in the same regards, the stuff that he would get knocked on also helps his style of play and also makes him who he is. And I just think did you guys talk about it on the podcast or did we talk about it? What a perfect timing too. You pregame, you bring out Hamlin to do the.
I said that.
Yeah.
Best pod.
Yeah. I heard you.
I think it's going to happen.
You bring that out. It's the same fucking game that he went out on. You know, it's the Bengals again. So you bring him out, do the coin toss, maybe like shake some hands or whatever, kiss some babies. The place is going to fucking go nuts. Then on top of that, you figure, they got to clean up what they've been doing because they didn't look as impressive as they should have. And I think Cincinnati kind of looked unimpressive the last game. I thought they should have mopped the floor with Baltimore. I think Baltimore limped into the playoffs, literally and figuratively. Like, they had a backup quarterback. Their team was just whatever. And then they almost fucking lost on that or tied it or whatever.
They got very lucky.
Yeah.
I think once the Bills won, they overlooked them.
Yeah.
I really do. I think
they were getting ready for that game already. Yeah. Right.
I think they overlooked them.
And I like Joe Burrow. I find myself somewhat turning into the old guy that's like, fuck these kids, man. Like all these quarterbacks aren't as cool as the ones that I grew up with and all these players.
I believe that.
But I still do like a lot of these guys too. Like I do fuck with Burrow. I think he's good. I like his confidence. I like his
swagger.
The whole thing he's got going. I like that. He's on fucking Cincinnati and he put them on the map.
Facts.
They're the Bengals. Like nobody ever thinks they're going to be a Super Bowl team, but he went to the Super Bowl last year. So it's like, I do like them, but I just think the Bills are just a little bit better. And I think the stars are kind of lining up for them this year too. So I'm going to take the Bills.
Does Josh Allen clean up his turnovers? No. Because I haven't seen anything that gives me an indication that he could do that.
Give me a stat line.
He hates Josh Allen. He fucking hates him.
Oh, Josh Allen.
Anytime he could shit on him, he's going to take the opportunity.
Josh Allen, without a doubt, will have a fumble and or interception.
Okay.
Without a doubt. And you can't do that against Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
That is tough.
Because he will capitalize on it. Because Joe Burrow is better. And for me, it's just not even a question on that aspect. But with Josh Allen, I can't trust him. I have too much proof. 32 fumbles and interceptions this year.
It is a lot. It's reckless.
It's reckless.
And again, to just play devil's advocate as a Cowboys fan, all you fucking hear about is Dak's interceptions.
I said this. I said it on Tuesday. If Dak Prescott would have played the game that Josh Allen played and had 2 interceptions and 3 fumbles, and he won, then the story would have been about the interceptions and the fumbles, not that he won.
Right.
But Josh Allen does that, and it's about Josh Allen won and got through the game, and that's what I can't stand about Josh Allen.
So would you have the same energy if Josh Allen won the same way Burrow won last week?
Yes. Josh.
No way, bro.
Nick, I can explain it to you right now.
Explain.
What didn't Joe Burrow do against the Ravens?
He didn't turn the ball over.
Thank you. That's what it's about in the playoffs.
But he didn't play particularly that well. I think Baltimore's defense had their number for a majority of the game.
They had their number all year, but Joe Burrow swept them. But again, you can have a touchdown, 200 yards, and get through without making that crucial mistake. Because if Joe Burrow has a turnover, they probably do lose.
Okay, that's fair.
I texted you during that, and I said, the way this game's going and the way they're playing Burrow, it's going to take a turnover to win this game. And then 5 minutes later, that happened.
That was fucking insane, by the way.
I text them that. I'm like, dude, fuck. I'm like, they're not going to win. I'm like, unless they get a turnover.
That's like a Brady ball bounce.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, you know how we joke about it?
That was the football god saying, we can't have Ravens and the Bills next week. It needs to be Bills, Bengals. And that's where I am on that, to be perfectly honest.
Greasy hustle. Powell, stop riding Allen's cock.
Oh, yeah. I think he's Bills Mafia.
He is Bill's mafia.
I mean,
Yeah.
To go the other way, Burrow did only have 209 yards and 1 touchdown.
Yep.
That really wasn't impressive.
No, it wasn't impressive at all. But to me, the difference is that if he had 2 interceptions and 3 fumbles in that game, they lose that game. The only reason they didn't lose that game against the Dolphins was because it was Skylar Thompson. And Jalen Waddle decided to drop about 150 yards.
I agree. So who you got?
I got the Bengals.
You got the Bengals?
The Bengals are winning outright.
You are so foolish.
The
bro.
Bengals are going to win.
You are foolish.
I got the Bengals winning 31-28.
It's such a gentlemanly way to put it.
Here's my thing with him. He cracks you the fuck up, bro. This guy right here is a fucking legend. Anybody watching, this guy right here is a fucking legend. The reason why he picked the Bengals because he doesn't have his goatee. He doesn't really he's not there yet. You know what I mean? Because here's my thing. He knows damn well the Bills at -5.5 is a fucking Bills line. He comes to me all the time about that shit. Oh, it's a Bills line. It's a line. Come on.
It is a Bills line.
So you're going against your Bible, bro.
I have to. You know why?
Why?
Because at the end of the day, you know why that line's like that? That's not a true line. You know what that line is?
Explain.
That line is the love fest.
Oh my God.
That line is the obsession with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
That line is Vegas saying, I'm going to run your fucking pockets, family.
No.
Yeah, hell yeah, they are.
They're not built on
Love Fest. Vegas ain't built on Love Fest, bro. They're built on fucking.
The Bills are an overrated.
Yeah. They are.
They're not built on Love Fest, bro.
Do you think that's an accurate line?
What would you? Okay, if you were Vegas,
yep.
What would you put the line at?
That's to me 1 or 2 points.
Okay,
maybe
you're basically saying it's even,
and maybe even a pick 'em. I mean, again,
a pick 'em on the road.
How isn't it?
No, bro.
I think you got to have at least Bills -3.
Yeah. You think the Bengals are that much? I mean, the Bills are that much better than the Bengals by what metric?
I would say they just have a better defense.
Agreed.
Than Cincinnati.
I would
just
take
that
Bills
alone would
defense
give, that would just give them a little bit of an. What? Speaking of defense, what's Von Miller's situation? Is he just done?
Yeah, he had towards ACL.
Okay. I thought maybe there was a chance they might get him back or something. I didn't have a tour.
So the Bills have the better defense. The Bengals have the better quarterback, the better running back, the better wide receivers, and they're a 5.5 point dog.
A better quarterback to you, yeah. That's a
by any metric that you can look at.
Well, I would take a Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen. I think the turnovers kill him, but if he cleans them up, bro, the guy's getting 352 yards despite turning the ball over 5 times.
Yeah.
That's 5 less possessions, and he still threw 352 yards.
Give me 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions over 350 yards with 5 turnovers. What would you take?
Well, if my guy won the game, I'll take the stats and the win.
I'm just saying, if you looked at no win or loss, if you looked at a guy with 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and you look at a guy with 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, who had the better game?
The guy who didn't commit turnovers.
Thank you.
Because that's football. That's playoff football.
But
I agree with you on that. But what I'm saying is you're automatically assuming that Burrow is a slam dunk better quarterback than Josh Allen.
He is. What? Tell me what without.
I think Josh Allen could do it all, bro. He could throw it. He could throw it really, really well. He's got a rocket arm.
Burrow's more accurate. Burrow's calmer under pressure. He turns the ball over less. Those are 3 like the 4 most important categories of being a quarterback. The only thing you can say definitively that Josh Allen does better than Joe Burrow is run. And being a quarterback isn't a fucking running back.
Well, it's a skill set.
A bigger arm too.
Who?
It's Allen.
Allen has a stronger arm.
Absolutely does. But it's a skill set in today's NFL. I'm going by today's metrics, bro. Like the fact that he could run for 60 yards.
Where's it gotten him in 5 years?
Well, he went to the championship game.
He has. Where'd my guy go?
He went to the Super Bowl.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's another metric we got him in.
I agree, but you're judging the metric off the 1 year.
That's all I can go off of.
I know. Yeah.
You got 5 years and you haven't gotten as far as my 1 year.
5 years of pretty good football, bro.
And I got 1 year of
and the
dominant
Bills,
football.
and not for nothing, the Bills been dog shit for a long time. The fact that when Josh Allen got there, he had the same impact as Burrow, bro.
Absolutely 100% not. Josh Allen was terrible his rookie year.
Bro, the Bills were trash for a long time, bro.
And the Bengals were right?
No, I'm saying Burrow did the same thing as Allen in terms of uplifting a team.
But Joe Burrow uplifted his team higher in a shorter amount of time.
He did.
This is supreme shit.
That's true for a Super Bowl. Yeah. Super Bowl appearance. Absolutely. But I can't fucking wait for this weekend.
Me neither. I cannot wait. I cannot wait till Tuesday.
I know damn well Tuesday you ain't showing up, dog, because I'm gonna be on your ass, bro.
We'll see.
I can't fucking wait.
You know what I'm gonna do? Actually, at about 6:30, 7 o'clock on Sunday evening.
Greasy Hustle's got $200 for you.
Oh,
I'll take it right now. I'll take it right now. I'll send him my Venmo.
Oh, Theories, I fuck with you heavy, my boy. Yeah.
I don't even know. Wait, who is he?
Greasy, baby.
He said, I bet you $200 you taking that better than all.
I just sent you my phone number. Avoid the 6 instead of the 5. Text me right now, and I take Cash App, Venmo, or Zelle.
I'll bet you some dinner.
Salad?
Yeah, it's cutting season.
Right.
It's official.
Yeah,
Shook on it. Shook on it.
It's gonna be fun though because I'm the Allen guy, bro.
Yeah.
But like,
oh my God, Tuesday I will be insufferable.
But there's no love fest. The love fest for me is ridiculous. That I had that narrative of a love fest.
Right.
I say he creates a lot of turnovers, but I am banking on the talent long term because if you take away his wheels, his feet, aka right, he could still sit in the fucking pocket and deliver the football.
Joe Burrow is better than the pocket though. Joe Burrow is better from the pocket. 100%. He is.
Pocket presence, maybe?
Pocket presence, calmer, better decision maker. I mean, that goes without saying because Josh Allen's a turnover machine. So the pocket presence would automatically go to Burrow. But my thing is with Josh Allen, if he can do that, here's the thing. Josh Allen's like in a lose-lose because that whole offense is him. He's their best running back. They go away from the run, which also you can't do that.
Agreed.
You have to run the ball.
Right.
Like Devin Singletary was good this year. James Cook has been coming on a little.
Cincinnati's definitely a more complete offense.
Yeah.
Because they have Mixon, they have like a little more receiver threat with the three-headed monster as opposed to the two. But I kind of go into the story, we've been doing storylines this whole time.
Greasy, I gave you my phone number. You still didn't text me. You need me to send you my Venmo too? Well, actually, just send me yours because you lost without a doubt. So this is amazing. I got a second round bye. Joe Burrow finally supplants
possible dinner.
Josh Allen. I got a Caesar salad on Tuesday, light dressing, no tomatoes, extra grated cheese, and I'm gonna make 200. This is amazing. What a week for me.
That is wild.
What a week for me.
But to go back to
digging
what
yourself
saying,
deeper, bro, because I noticed I didn't say a goddamn word to what you just said because I'm gonna hold all that in, bro, because it's gonna come right after you, bro.
We'll see.
On Tuesday, you're gonna feel the wrath.
I can't wait.
But if the Bills don't do it, when are they going? You know what I mean? It's kind of like my theory with the Cowboys. If they don't do it now, when are they going to do it? The Bills have been the favorite. Yes, the Bills this year. Like they gotta fucking go, man.
Do everything like the Damar Hamlin stuff. Like that to me.
They had a great regular season. Yeah. What were they? 14-3. That's a fucking
Does either quarterback's legacy take a hit with a loss?
I think Allen's would if they lose. Burrow, no. Burrow just went to the Super Bowl.
That's what Dave asked, right?
Lost.
Dave asked that question.
Dave, who?
He said, "Is the loser of this game look that different?"
Oh, that was actually our next question on the sheet.
Do you think
I don't think Burrow does. No. I do think Allen does. Burrow went to the Super Bowl. He got through that last game. Like I said, we were just saying about that if he would have lost to the Ravens, I actually think it would have hurt. It would have hurt my case and anyone that's a Burrow believer because you can say they caught luck in a bottle. But for Allen, it's like you said. 5 years in the league, you're 3-3 as a playoff starter. You've only
favorites for a while.
You've been the favorites, overwhelming favorites. You were supposed to be the MVP.
The preseason favorites.
Right. Overwhelming. You were supposed to be the MVP. You lost that. So it's like with Allen, it's like put up or shut up now. Like he has to win the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Statement game.
Like if he loses this, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I hate to break it to you. You know how we just talk about this, the storylines and narratives. You know how much money the NFL would make on the neutral field in Atlanta between the Chiefs and the Bills?
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Is it a neutral field if it's Chiefs, Bengals, or is it in Kansas City?
No, it's in Kansas. Right? It's in Kansas City.
Yeah.
That would be
the
awesome
neutral
too.
site is where they're going to make a lot of money, bro.
Yeah.
That's like a Super Bowl. It's an AFC Championship game at a neutral site.
That was that
That is
ridiculous
a big-
game that one year, right?
I
Like
actually
back
feel
and
like the
forth a couple years
Bengals.
ago.
Yeah.
I feel like the Bengals and the Bills should have been in a neutral site. The Bengals got boned.
It
Why do
got
they have to
destroyed.
travel?
Yeah.
Uh,
That whole situation. I mean, I know it
Yeah,
never
no,
happened before.
I'm not
It's-
trying to
It's
disrespect.
hard to
No, I get it,
it's
I
hard
get
to
it.
criticize, but at the same time, you penalize those teams for that.
Yeah, like
Like, what the fuck?
now they were in Cincinnati,
Yeah.
and now it should, if anything, it should have been in Cincinnati. You replay that game.
Mhm.
Like,
They
why
should
did
have
it?
just played it the next night, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Just stay
Yeah.
there. I get it. You don't want to play that night because
Yeah.
of how severe.
But the
it was.
Bengals got screwed.
Yes.
They almost got double screwed because they could have had to go to Baltimore.
Yeah.
So which, thank God they didn't, because the
Yeah.
way that game went. So who do you have?
I do have the Bills.
Both
I
ways.
do have the Bills. Yeah, I'm taking the Bills.
You got the
I got
both
Bills
ways?
both ways.
Whew. Sorry to hear that, brothers. All right, guys. Last
You just
game
got
of
roped
the
into it,
weekend.
bro. That's all.
Jaguars at Chiefs. Chiefs minus 8.5.
My bad.
That's all good. No, that's all. I froze for a minute because Greasy still didn't text me. I don't know.
Paul's was like, man, I get 5.5 points and I get the Bengals.
No,
Oh, my
it's just
God,
money
man,
line. I'm
man.
not taking
The
5.5.
love fest, man. Vegas, you're really gonna, big up my pockets, Vegas. The love fest it is.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
Oh God,
I
you
can't
are
wait.
crazy, bro.
Um,
You're so nuts, dog.
I believe in what I say.
I know. What I'm saying is, you said something about Vegas having it wrong because of a love fest.
It is. It's a Vegas. Vegas
No,
put that
it's
line because the
not.
Bills are overrated.
Vegas ain't built on no fucking love fest,
They're
man.
overrated, bro.
The Bills are
The
overrated.
Bills are an overrated team.
Okay.
They really are, and it's really the truth. They're an overrated team.
Okay.
Do you give the Jags any chance to win against the Chiefs?
Yeah, hell yeah, I give him a chance. I told you last time, any type of fucking team that gets in the playoffs, you got a chance, dog. I've seen too much. Enough was enough, bro. I've seen the Giants beat the GOAT twice. Enough is enough with me, bro. I don't put anything past anybody. Hell yeah, they got a chance. Hell yeah, they do. That second half performance against the Chargers, hell yeah, they got a chance.
Bro, real shit. I turned that game off and started watching The Sopranos with my girl. I was like, yeah, this game's over. I was like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
We're getting through it for the first time together, but I'm like, this game ain't going anywhere. And then I saw the alert. I had the score app or whatever. I saw the alert pop up, and it was like, Jags do the improbable. I was like, what the fuck?
And not for
That's
nothing,
insane.
the Jags only lost by 10 in November to the Chiefs.
Jeez.
Andy Reid versus Dougie P.
I think it's going to be very close, bro.
I actually do myself. I give the Jags a chance to win it.
I do too, because I feel
I'm
like they
shocked.
have no
I thought
pressure.
you both were.
No,
heavy
here's the thing.
Chiefs.
They got no pressure, bro.
No
that's
pressure.
what makes them dangerous.
No pressure. And you know what else is saying? Everybody in the world is going to bet on the Jags,
Chiefs.
on the Chiefs. Excuse me.
Absolutely.
That Vegas line is going to be like 80%, 75, 80%.
They don't work like that. Like, one thing that actually makes me feel better about my brashness against the Eagles, that line has not moved off of 7.5. That line has stayed put.
It has.
The
Yes.
only line that has moved crazy is the Bengals and the Bills. Opened at 5,
Okay.
went down to 4, 4.5. Now it's back up to 5.5.
See, at least with that game, it's more evenly matched. Everybody that watches football or plays fantasy or whatever would assume the Chiefs are going to beat the Jags.
Yes, correct.
Just based off of just
And that's the
history.
problem.
Right. Exactly.
That is the problem in and of itself. There's not really a storyline to this game
No.
outside
well, I guess the Dougie
No, there
P-
is. Yeah, Dougie P. Andy
Dougie
Reid.
P and Andy
Yeah.
Reid, and can Trevor Lawrence come of age? Because if Trevor Lawrence takes
Can't
out
do what he
Patrick
did last
Mahomes
week. No.
in the divisional round and goes to an AFC championship
That
game,
puts him on the map.
In
and
the second year. Now you're having a Burrow conversation.
no, oh yeah,
Yeah,
you
sure.
are. Well,
Yeah.
I was actually going to say the flip side. Now you're having is Trevor Lawrence the third best quarterback in the NFL? If Lawrence and Allen win,
Mhm.
I mean Lawrence and Burrow win,
Mhm.
got to start having that conversation.
Yeah.
You do. It's a fair conversation, bro.
I wouldn't put him that high, but
Again, the love fest. Second year starting, coming off the worst rookie performance we've ever seen. He takes down Patrick Mahomes in his house, something Allen has never done. One thing I will say on the flip side, we need to see Patrick Mahomes play a road playoff game.
Yeah. Isn't that like his whole thing? Is he's never been on the road yet?
He's never been on the road yet.
That is.
That
wild.
is, if he
credit
wins,
to them for always being in the
outside the
favorite
Super Bowl,
position.
yes.
Yeah.
if he wins that Super Bowl against Tom Brady, and he has 2 Super Bowls,
Yeah, he's got a different legacy.
he has the best resume through 5 seasons of any quarterback in the NFL, in the history of the NFL.
That's cap.
It's better than Brady's, bro.
No, it's not.
It-
3 rings is much better
I get
than one.
that. I get that. No, I'm saying if he won that one,
Yeah, okay.
That's what I said. If he won that Super Bowl against Brady, he has the best start to a
Because
career.
you're going based off stats.
And he's got 2 rings.
And shorter.
I get that.
In the shorter period
of time.
Yeah.
I get that. But the game is definitely different, where it's more tailored for the stat to be put up like 5,000 yards. Was unheard of back then, bro.
And not for nothing.
It was unheard of.
Yeah. But Brady was a game manager.
For a while. Until
Brady was a game manager. Patrick Mahomes
has
his rookie season threw for 50 touchdowns.
Right.
So when Patrick Mahomes came on, he was there. It took look, Brady won 3 Super Bowls. So game manager or not, he did
whatever, right.
And he led 3 game-winning drives. So
was he really a game manager, or was he just doing his job?
It's the same thing. Doing your job as a game manager.
I think Mahomes was
no, that's not true.
How isn't it?
Because Mahomes is doing his job and he's not a game manager.
Because he's lighting up, bro. He has the stats and everything.
Yeah, I know, but who's to say that Brady couldn't do the same thing if he didn't get the opportunity to do so?
He didn't. He had the opportunity.
Well, he was throwing to also nobody too.
That's not my problem.
No, I know that, but it's a different era. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is throwing to nobody this year.
Yeah, true, but he has Travis Kelce.
He does. So, you're a Brady guy, so you're never going to succumm to that.
No,
Patrick Mahomes in his first 5 years is better than Tom Brady. If he had that second ring. If he had that second ring, more the total body of work, as I mentioned earlier.
Mahomes is like what Manning was supposed to be. You know how Manning choked for a long time until he did hit the final.
I was a Manning over Brady guy. I know very well.
So
I try to teach him at a young age, bro.
And now the tables have turned, and I'm trying to teach your ass.
But Mahomes is doing that. You know what I mean? Mahomes is doing the Manning shit. Like he's putting up the stats, and he won the Super Bowl, and then he went back, and then he ran into that Bucs team or whatever with no offensive line that year. But yeah, Mahomes is hard to knock.
Yeah, it's just like, like I said, the whole thing of 5th consecutive, if he wins, it's his 5th straight AFC title game. Like he knows nothing.
It's impressive.
It's the Arrowhead Invitational at this point.
That's
and he's never lost a road game to a divisional opponent. Like his stats are just nuts.
They should, for all intents and purposes, win this game, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And they should probably do it convincingly.
Now, to pivot to the Jags, after last week's win, where do you put Trevor Lawrence? Like, do you have him? Do you think that he's inching into that top 10?
He's still outside of it, but he's putting himself in position to definitely break it, to get into.
If he wins this game,
I
think you have to have a serious conversation.
If he wins this game, just think of like the fantasy boards next year. People are going to want him next year.
100%. And they're getting Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a weird under the radar move that they did.
Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones.
Kirk.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
About what?
Lawrence.
Thank you so much for paying attention, man.
I was paying attention, but I don't know what you're talking about.
So you weren't paying attention.
I was paying attention, but what was the question?
If Trevor Lawrence, after last week, where do you rate Trevor Lawrence? Do you think he's inside the top 10 or outside of it?
Outside.
Now, if he were to beat Mahomes.
Because you can't throw 4 interceptions against a good team in the first quarter and expect to come back. It ain't going to happen, bro.
I know.
You throw 4 interceptions against the Chiefs, you're going to get your ass blown out. You're walking home, bro.
How he responded, though, is pretty impressive.
It was impressive, but also the Chargers didn't capitalize on all those turnovers.
I agree with you, too, for the record. I agree with you.
That was their fault.
He comes out and throws 1 interception.
And you can credit the Jags defense for playing a part on that, but Herbert missed a lot of throws in the end zone. That one to Keenan Allen was wide open. You turn 3 into 7. Now it's 31-0 as opposed to 27-0. Whereas a score kind of gets you a little bit there because you're only down 20 and you have a whole other half. But like when you have 31 points, bro, that's mentally blocking, bro. Like, in my opinion, that would have been the dagger, but it didn't happen. So I don't have him in the top 10, bro. You can't throw 4 interceptions in a playoff game.
Do you have the Chiefs?
If Josh Allen did that, you'd be ripping him.
Absolutely, you can't.
Exactly. So now we're going to praise Trevor Lawrence.
If he beats Patrick Mahomes, yeah. Absolutely. He did something Josh Allen hasn't done in 5 years. He did it in 1 year, in 2 years.
Bro. That's the stupidest thing. That argument is so dumb, bro.
Why?
Because if you watch that divisional game, bro, like 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago or last year?
2 years. No, was that last year?
Last year?
Yeah, the 7 seconds.
With the quarantine, come on, bro. What the fuck you want Josh Allen to do, dog? Oh, no.
That was insane.
Let's have a real conversation, bro. What did you want the man to do? The man threw a touchdown with fucking 15 seconds left or 12 seconds left. And the guy and they went down the field in 12 seconds and kicked a game-tying field goal. What do you want him to do, bro?
I didn't blame him for last year. Notice I never brought up that game. That's the best game.
I know. But we kill Josh Allen about not being successful against Mahomes and not making it to the big game. But like realistically, bro, the last year the Bills were a very good team.
Yes.
And they lost on some boneheaded shit, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, what did you want him to do? It's not his fault.
No, it's not. And I've never blamed him for it. You've never heard me say that. I'm just saying you got one guy.
I do. No, you have blamed him for it because you blamed him for the lack of postseason success.
Yeah.
Because if he beats Mahomes, we're not even having this conversation because that would have been always in your head that Josh Allen beat Patrick Mahomes.
He's still not better than Mahomes.
In Kansas City.
My issue with Josh Allen lays at the same thing. You have one guy, you have people that actually think Josh Allen is better than him or on his level than Patrick Mahomes. And I don't even think it's close. They've both been in the league for 5 years. Patrick Mahomes knows nothing but AFC title game, home playoff game, or Super Bowl. Josh Allen knows first round exit, second round exit, no playoffs, and one AFC championship game in which he lost to Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow has been in the league now 2 years. This is his third year. First year, tore his ACL. Second year, comes back, goes to the Super Bowl. This year, now, to be determined. That is my only argument about Josh Allen. Every year, you're the MVP favorite. You're the best player in the world, and you can't make a Super Bowl.
He's very likable.
But bro, what I'm saying is that game was so fucking ridiculous.
It was amazing.
Bro. We would be having a different conversation. The Bills can just stop in 12 seconds.
You know how we had a different conversation?
Pretty ridiculous, bro.
You like those overtime rules. Guess who doesn't? Because I think Josh Allen should have had a chance to tie that game. I wasn't talking
about the overtime rules. I was not what I was not talking about the overtime.
If he would have had a chance, no, I'm saying if he would have had a chance to get the ball back, we could be having a different conversation. Because if the Chiefs get 3 and he goes down and scores a touchdown like he did all day,
maybe
then you're saying that's the best game Josh Allen has ever played, and you at least have an argument that Josh Allen can perform Josh Allen can perform in the moment.
Maybe, but I wasn't talking about the overtime. That's a different conversation. What I'm talking about is the fact that his defense gave up a game time field goal with 12 seconds left after he just went down and scored a touchdown to put the dagger in the hearts of the Chiefs fans. That's fucking dude. That's crazy. That's demoralizing, fam. And if he wins that game, we are having a different conversation and a different perspective on Josh Allen. I understand his turnover battles. I get it. I get that. I understand it. But the love fest did stem from somewhere because it stemmed from him playing in big time games, performing at a high level. And he just got boned in that game, bro. That's all.
That boning gave some of that love fest to the national media. You know what I mean?
I agree.
A lot of people are like, that fucking sucks. Like, even if you're not a Bills fan, you're like, damn, that guy got fucked. He played his ass off. And they still lost.
Because because of the 12 seconds and then the overtime on top of that, that kind of made it, what it was. I get it. Yeah,
man, that's awesome, man. I would love to lose a game, and because of the way I lost now, the guy
it doesn't happen. No, don't get me wrong, it doesn't happen often, but they do shit like that. Where like,
I agree.
I got I feel like a lot of people fell in love with Romo after the fucking bobble, and then he's sitting there holding this. People are like, damn,
you feel bad for him.
Yeah, that sucks. Dude. Yeah, like damn. And then the same thing with Allen, like. He played way better than Romo did that game. Yeah. And you know what I mean? And he still came up short. So it's like, it's tough. I get both sides, Yeah. I get it.
That was a good episode, boys.
Oh, wait.
Loved it.
Oh, yeah. We didn't do the predictions. I'm actually shockingly taking the Jags.
So am I. I have the Jags on the money line. Trevor Lawrence goes to the AFC title game.
Yeah. There needs to be an upset.
And I
don't think it's going to be the Giants, and the Dallas is not a
Bengals and Bills. I don't think that's an upset.
Bengals, Bills isn't. Dallas and San Fran isn't either way.
So you guys are going by the theory. There has to be an
upset.
I got it. But me picking the Jags would go against everything I just said about the NFL and the neutral site.
You're very consistent.
I will take the Chiefs, but I think the Jags will cover. And I think, and again, if they win, I wouldn't be surprised, bro, because they're one of those teams.
Yeah, my Cinderella team. Yeah.
I hope they actually win for him.
I shouted you out last pod. I said, Spanos called that. We were all picked the Chargers, and Span picked the Jags, bro.
My final 4 are Eagles, Dallas at Philly, and Jags at Bengals.
Okay. I have Dallas at Philly. I have Jags at Bills.
I got San Fran, Philly, and then I got the Bills and the Chiefs. We're analysis.
Regular shit.
I like it. It's good though.
At least we all different. Yeah,
but that's how I feel. That's how I feel, and I'm gonna be right.
All right, everybody. That concludes episode 137. Span, appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, bro.
Greasy, you can duck me until this Tuesday, and when you tune in, I'm gonna send my Venmo every 35 seconds because you won't send me your shit.
Hey, Greasy, if he bails, I'll get your bread. All right. I'll get
Who
your
bailing?
bread. What?
I'm not bailing.
All right.
I'm not bailing.
I'm just saying.
I got nothing to worry about. Theories, take it
Greasy,
away.
if I'm potting on Tuesday by myself, you know why. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We appreciate all the love, support, and the comments. If you guys haven't done so already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on YouTube. We are also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Megaphone, Stitcher,
and all that other shit.
Also, follow us on all of our social platforms as you do not want to miss our daily content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we will see you guys next week at P&I, baby.
That was nice. That was fun.